Hey, what's going on? It's me. I'm Tom with Kaijutopia. I just thought, hey, you know what? It's time to make noise on my phone. I thought, it'd be a nice way to just kick back, relax for this Saturday evening. I actually managed to get my kid to bed. So, what's going on, everybody? I thought, what's going on right now? We in the Godzilla fan community are just we've lost our minds in a good way for the past couple days because we had a 20 a like a 20-30 second like teaser of the upcoming Godzilla Kong movie called Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. And it not only doesn't really tell us all that much, right? It still shows us just a little tiny bit of, something cool, something like a brand new antagonist that we weren't expecting. But it still leaves like there's so much we don't know about this project, which is I think like a first when it comes to the Monsterverse films. Like we really don't know where this is going, what's going to happen, which is awesome, by the way. So I really thought that teaser was a nice appetizer, and soon we're gonna see like you know, I think we gotta wait till March of next year for the full course, but that's not a problem. It's not a big deal. So, like, anyway, to those of you who are maybe, I don't know, familiar with how I generally do streams, I'm usually like in my office studio with fancy lights and, a more peaceful kind of, meditation like music, just so, everyone can, uh, I guess, process the awesomeness of whatever it is I have to say or show. But no, I'm just downstairs. I'm just here in the living room. Just thought, hey, let's just chill. Let's just have a good time. Talk Godzilla, talk MonsterVerse, talk whatever. And Goku Black Rose, what's up? Glad you can make it. I think that Kong is gonna try to recruit Kong and kill Godzilla. You know what? That's a big possibility. One thing about this new Kong is that we don't really know if it's technically a Kong per se. I've heard or read like there's a lot of speculation, so why not? That's like the name of the game, right? Right now, we're all just speculating, but I think it's okay to call it like an evil Kong or like Gray Shot, my friend, he was here a couple nights ago, and shout out to Gray Shot. Said something like let's he suggested calling it the Elder, which was cool. Everybody seems to have their own like unique name for this character, which is awesome. I mean, this guy has only shown up for like 20-30 seconds and we're already like, who are you, what are you doing, what's your motive, what's your power level? It's great. Mr. Red Hudson, what's up? Glad you could be here. So like, I think this is great, right? I mean, why not? Why not just, I mean, as long as we're all very upfront about the fact that, guys, I'm not an insider. I don't have like this is some I have the script or anything. I have actually spoken to Adam Wingard and such. No, this is just for fun. This is funsies, man. Let's just have a blast. We all know like a year from now after we've seen the movie that we're gonna be all like, uh yeah, my theories were nowhere near like accurate, which is kind of like that's okay. That's part of it, right? That's part of the experience. You know how many YouTube videos exist of fan theories about like we think the direction of this movie series is going to go in this way, like for the Marvel movies, for example, only for that not to happen. But whatever, it's cool. It's all about the friends we made along the way or the theories we created, thought of that, we conveniently forget the moment we see the movie and go, ah, yes, yes, of course that was going to happen. Um, yeah. Yeah, the same thing happened when Mechagodzilla showed up, absolutely. Remember how everybody thought, like, Godzilla was actually in Mechagodzilla in disguise throughout, like, most of the film or most of the trailer? And now just wait. Evil Kong's actually Mechanite Kong in disguise. He was actually built by ancient Kongs long ago to be the ultimate Godzilla slayer, which sounds awesome, by the way. Oh man. I made a Godzilla 55 puppet out of a sock. That actually that's skill right there, Mr. Red Hudson. That's talent. Yeah, so man, theories have been abound, they're all over the place. Um yeah, I thought Mechagodzilla was Godzilla in disguise. It would have been a very it would have been an interesting idea, like something that, I think it probably would have divided viewers, but hey, that's fine. It's totally cool to do such something like that. Uh yeah, so one thing that I wanted to share, this was definitely inspired by D-Man, who I'm sure most of you know. He's been making incredible like videos on the Monsterverse and Godzilla X Kong news and announcements, and everybody. If you don't know him, you should go to his channel, subscribe because he's incredible. He's awesome. He shared recently some ideas of his own. I'm not gonna like just repeat them all because again, his videos are great. So never mind like my paraphrasing of it. But he kind of got me thinking about something that I thought would be interesting, and uh, I I have not seen anyone else come up with this idea yet. So forgive me if you have, feel free to chime in or what have you. But so for Godzilla versus Kong, there was concept art for Kong's lair in the Hollow Earth, where the deeper you go, you kind of see all these cave paintings of like the previous ancient war between Godzilla's race and Kong's ancestors and such. But on it, and I'm sure many of you have seen this by now. It's like this strange painting that shows like a group of Kongs and Godzilla's and human beings teaming up against like this got winged Godzilla, and we don't know if it's like actually Godzilla's flying. I mean, even D-Man brought this up. Like, we don't know if it's physically happening. Did that actually happen, or is it metaphorical? But the ideas from some fans is yeah, this is totally space Godzilla, which that would be bonkers and crazy, and I'm kind of here for it. Or this is like something else entirely, like maybe this is some sort of evil Godzilla that you know s- brought about war to Godzilla and Kong alike. uh you know I don't know, obviously, because I have not seen the future Monsterverse films. But first, I have the art book right here. Forgive me if the details or the resolution's terrible. I haven't tested this yet, so we're gonna give it a go. Again, D Man has like a recreation higher resolution of this, so again, hunt down that recent video he made. So go for it. But in the meantime, I'm gonna show you this, and then I'm gonna like give you my Tom theory time. Theory time. All right, so check it out. Woo! Gosh, this is like some like classic live stream back in the day of YouTube first starting out. Again, I'm not in my office, so I don't have like split screen. I don't have like, hey, I'm gonna share my screen or here's this photo or anything. So maybe I'll do that another time. But basically, I kind of think this is whether Godzilla's flying or not is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is, I think that is Godzilla and Mothra. It could be an evil Godzilla and Mothra hybrid. Remember in Godzilla King of the Monsters, where Mothra merged, like her essence merged with our Godzilla, and he temporarily became Burning Godzilla. So what if like something like that has already happened? And honestly, again, you know, my on my end, it looks weird. It looks strange. Yeah, it's weird, right? Goku Black Rose. Yeah, Rose. Yeah. Um, but I think those wings are Mothra wings, and I think in the past, it was some sort of rebellious Godzilla and Mothra merged into this sort of super Godzilla that ran amok. So, yeah. Um, so that's like the first Tom fan theory of the night. I think it was an evil, burning Godzilla Mothra hybrid that we could very well end up seeing because here's the thing. I've seen a lot of controversy in the last couple days because, it's a that's our fandom. That's what fandoms do. And a lot of people are like wondering, okay, Evil Kong, okay, but like, how is this a serious threat to Godzilla and Kong? Like, and then they start comparing like this evil Kong we really don't know anything about to like comparing him to like King Ghidorah or Mecha Godzilla, and it's like how like look at what these big super titan monsters achieved, but what has this guy done? And it's like, well, we don't know because he was just announced and we need to wait and see what he does. That's that's how this works. Um, Especially when you're dealing with a new character, a new creation, which is what's so exciting about this character. I and I think you're gonna look we're gonna see a character that could very well end up not even being the main antagonist. I suspect he's the primary antagonist. He's using his wits, his intelligence, his cunning to like maybe have the monsters face off against each other. Maybe he's gonna try and reignite Godzilla and Kong's rivalry, or he's like he has his own army of titans at his beck and call to he can marshal his forces. I mean, the movie is called Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, so I kind of feel like this guy is going to become like a the kind of like a war Kong, a war general of he's going to be marshaling his forces because I don't think he wants just like the hollow earth. I think he wants to like take over like the entire Earth, which is why Godzilla and Kong are both pulled into this confrontation, this conflict. Yeah, okay. Mr. Red Hudson says, was the red marks on his face like war marks? It could be like it could be war paint. Others have observed that this looks like paint. It could actually be Titan blood. We don't know, but I mean, that's a great question, Mr. Red Hudson, and it's who knows, right? Um Oh, hey, Droids. This new Titan should have been legendary Gigan, in my opinion. That would have been awesome. We might see Gigan eventually in the Monsterverse. We've been seeing a sort of Gigan resurgence lately. So, you know, anything's possible. I would love to see I would love to see Gigan join the Monsterverse for sure. So like, anyway, I think this is the whole like sort of you got people who are already underestimating this character. Again, who knows? He could turn out to be a complete weakling, and this is why he's like, he's forced to rely more on his cunning than his just raw strength. Even though I suspect, given that he's surrounded by the skeletons of fallen titans and such, he probably has like millions of years of fighting experience and knows how to take out, the most powerful creatures on the planet. I mean, we're talking about someone that like a character that might just as well be just as smart, if not smarter than the human race, which is why Godzilla, Kong, and humankind alike are gonna have to join forces against this guy. Um, hey, Evan Blue, welcome. I don't have much time to stay. Just wanted to say hi. Hey, man. Thanks for coming. I appreciate you being here. Oh, imagine he kills Kong. Godzilla and Kong has to fight him alone. Oh, jeez. Can you imagine? Can you just imagine the. Oh, man. Yeah, this is why I think one reason, since his eyes are like this sort of glowing blue, that this evil Kong might just be able to siphon Hollow Earth energy, which means he can Godzilla's power is fair game. And even if, hey, if you can't beat them, steal their power and then beat them with it, right? I mean, that could be how this evil Titan Kong operates. Um, it depends. It largely varies on like a number of factors, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's another, you know, evil kaiju at work here. It could be another Godzilla. I mean, again, I don't want to like D-Man's a genius. He's speculated, you know what? What if this becomes Godzilla and Kong versus Godzilla and Kong? One side's good, the other's bad. That sounds awesome. I mean, from a marketing standpoint, it also makes sense because Godzilla versus Kong did very well. And how are you supposed to get more people back? You don't want to just say it's Godzilla versus Kong round two. I mean, it's probably not going to do as well. But what's better than Godzilla fighting Kong? Godzilla and Kong teaming up against evil Godzilla and evil Kong. That's one option. Another one is I suspect like this evil Kong probably has the kaiju equivalent to weapons of mass destruction. Like somewhere in the darkest pits of the hollow earth, he has a weapon, a destructive creature. Like imagine like the Monsterverse version of Hedorah, or maybe it could be another King Ghidorah locked away down there. It could be Biollante. It could be a brand new monster. It could have an army of other monsters that he's like broken, that he's like, you know, that there's just so much possibility. So many ideas, and I'm game. You know what I mean? I'm ready. I want to see this movie, but I'm prepared to wait as long as is necessary because, well, I want this to be good. I want it to be fun. Godzilla versus Kong was so much fun. It was entertaining. It knew what it was. And yeah, it was predictable, which is what made it fun. I mean, you could go in and just enjoy yourself. But what makes Godzilla X Kong, the new empire, fascinating and so intriguing is the fact that we don't know so much about it. We have no idea. Like the new empire, what could that mean? Are we going to find out more of like the ancient war between Godzilla and Kong's ancestors? Are we going to find out that Kong's ancestors actually weren't the good guys? I don't know if anyone's familiar with like the Godzilla versus Kong novelizations or so, but according to the Iwi, who were the people, the inhabitants of Skull Island, Kong's best friends, his besties, uh, they like had a whole mythology around how it was actually, Godzilla who was the villain who stole a star, just ate a star, and that's how he could fire his atomic breath. And he drove Kong's ancestors out of the hollow earth and such. But what if Kong's ancestors weren't the good guys? In fact, what if this evil Kong was the one that was responsible for the war in the first place? Or maybe he was cast out because he instigated or provoked Godzilla's ancestors into battle with the Kongs. A lot's at play here. Imagine Bagan or Bagan. I would die to see Bagan in a Godzilla film. Hey, man, you never know. Bagan has Bagan, whatever, however you say his name. If you don't know, Bagan is like the main antagonist from the Super Nintendo game called Super Godzilla, and it's been a long running kind of like I see it kind of as a gag. It's fun, fans talk about Began, showing up eventually in a movie because he's also even before the video game, he was once like part of like being Mothra's villain from the early '90s and a Mothra standalone, fighting Godzilla during the 1980s, a former Return of Godzilla like screen, I think draft of some kind, screenplay draft. You know, it's fun to talk about. But, also, I think Godzivan, Toho's, little Godzilla puppet show on YouTube, they started bringing Bagan on. I don't know, uh, but it would be hilarious. Ooh, and of course, oh yeah, legendary Destroyer. Again, you know what? Destroyer was, I mean, the Oxygen Destroyer, despite being shoehorned into Godzilla King of the Monsters, in my opinion, I love the movie. I think it's great, but I didn't like the fact that the Oxygen Destroyer was just thrown in. But I think there's a way to make it, impactful, as if there was more to, if there was actually some sort of follow up to what it did, and it would be cool if, yeah, it led to the creation of the legendary destroyer. That would be awesome. Probably not going to happen. I mean, I feel like that's just going to be left as an Easter egg event that helped the plot continue in that film. And if legendary destroyer ever does show up, they might just go with a completely different backstory, a new origin. Who knows? Godzilla, King of the Monsters, isn't the best. It is the greatest Godzilla movie of all time. Ha ha ha. Uh, you know, if it's your favorite, cool. It's not mine, but I do like it. I enjoy it. I've thought about for years about, maybe just making a video review of it, but you know what? It's kind of like you gotta like I need to commit to that, and I need to really try and do something that others haven't done if I'm really going to do that. But it's not pressing. It's not something that I want to get to at this time. I do, of course. Gosh, I have so many projects in the works. I'm still working on the VFX for the current movie I'm working on, Godzilla Apocalypse Now. Yes, that's right. This wild mass guessing stream is going to take a quick little detour as I give a quick little update on my channel's projects. I know, just watch. We're going to see the numbers just drop. Everyone's just going to leave. That's cool. That's fine. But Godzilla Apocalypse Now is going to be so much fun. It's basically like my stop motion version of Godzilla Final Wars, and it's pretty exciting. The VFX are nearing completion. I think I'm about 85% of the way through. There's still a couple other things I gotta like do. There's more filming I have to prep for and do within the next week or two. But I think we're looking at a mid late May release at this point, and it's going to be a blast. I can't wait for you guys to see what I've been working on, and then finally I can start returning to smaller projects that I really want to tackle. I mean, I really want to make a Godzilla X Kong stop motion teaser now. I did a Gamma Rebirth teaser like several months ago, enjoyed it. So I want to do something similar and, just play around, goof off and such. But yeah. Um, just a second. Gonna take a drink of water. Let's see what we got here. What do we have? What if Planet of the Apes is canon within the Monsterverse timelines? You know what? That's a great idea. We should have that idea, that fan theory go viral. That's right. Um just gonna take a moment and thank you all for still being here. I mean, I know it's like it's late here. I mean, that's right. 8:30 is late for me. I know some of you are probably on like the East Coast, or, yeah, maybe even on the other side of the world. I don't know, but appreciate everyone taking the time to humor me as I try to like just talk about things that we enjoy. It's usually best to just talk about, what really inspires you, what is it that captivates you? What's why is Godzilla interesting? Why is the Monsterverse fun? Or not just the Monsterverse, but the Showa films, the Heisei, the Millennium Era, Shin Godzilla. Like, what is it about them that makes your mind just wander and just feel um a whole litany of different emotions, right? I mean, some Godzilla movies are just fun, pure entertainment. Others, like say Shin Godzilla or even the original Gojira, can be very provocative. It can be thought provoking, terrifying at times, and also inspire a degree of like just think about real world issues. But let's think about like controversy from earlier. I mentioned Godzilla King of the Monsters, and one reason why I really want to eventually do a video of Godzilla King of the Monsters is namely to touch upon Godzilla's nuclear origins. He's a metaphor. He represents the horrors of nuclear war, or at least that's how he was originally envisioned, right, from the original Godzilla movie. And for a great, from decades, that's generally been how he's been depicted. And part of the reason why Godzilla King of the Monsters received backlash is because Godzilla was resurrected by a nuke, and a nuclear bomb was presented, in a good way, which, of course, it's a weapon of mass destruction. It seems kind of strange that we're taking Godzilla, a character who is a symbol of just everything bad about nuclear weapons, and we're having a nuke save him, and it's supposed to be a good thing. That last part is not my. I don't think it was depicted as a good thing. More like a last resort. It came at the sacrifice of Dr. Serizawa, a good man. I mean, it was. I don't watch that scene and think, "Oh man, nukes are great, man. It's so good that this happened." It's not, but it does ignite great discussions, I think, especially if you're interested in having good faith talk chats, discussions with other Godzilla fans. It does beg the question, like, should Godzilla continue to be, well, just a nuclear metaphor? Is he more than that at this point? And personally, I think it's a combination of both. It really largely depends on the story you want to tell. But I do think Godzilla and his ties to just how dangerous nuclear weapons are, I don't think that should necessarily ever go away. That's like ingrained. That's part of Godzilla as a character. At the same time, I think Godzilla has evolved. He's no longer just this sort of like nuclear menace, this horror from the sea that his creators originally imagined. He's become more. So yeah, you know what? Yeah, we'll maybe explore that more in a future video. In like, I don't know, sometime when I get around to it. I might as well. I mean, got a lot to say, and the channel's been doing well. I mean, I've been really, I've, if you're a new subscriber, welcome. I mean, we've been doing pretty good, so I'm really satisfied. It's nice to, you know, be able to make videos and know that there are people out there that really enjoy them, and I'm thankful. I'm happy. I'm ecstatic. Like, yeah, I got more. I wanna like bring you more content, and I want to uh, you know what? I take your time very seriously. I want to give you something that you're gonna remember. I don't want to be one of those knocking on wood here, but I don't want to be one of those YouTube channels that just if I make content, it's gonna like matter for a day or two, and then it's time to move on. I want to make videos that you could come back to a week from now, a year from now, and hopefully still enjoy it. But dude, would you make the Godzilla X Kong the new Empire if Evil Kong toys come out? Oh, absolutely. I absolutely. That's kind of like the idea. That's kind of what I want to do. I want to like do my own version of this, Evil Kong. Heck, man, he's a redhead. I just know it. He's a ginger Kong, and I want my you know, if you I don't know, guys. I got to be real. I'm a Godzilla fan. I've been my entire life, but I'm hopping on the Ginger Kong bandwagon. Evil or not, I gotta support my ginger bro here. Um, and yeah, I got so many ideas of how I want to do my own little Godzilla X Kong New Empire teaser, stop motion, blah blah blah. We'll see how that goes. There's some great comments here. Guys, I'm going to take a moment and read some of these because, you're taking the time to, hear me. It's a one-sided conversation. So let's read some of these. Let's see what we got. Um, Shin Godzilla is what made him great again. Yeah, I mean, Shin Godzilla keeps getting better the more I watch it. It's just I mean, if it's not your cup of tea, that's great. That's fine. And there are, I'm open to hearing why it didn't work for people. But I also just personally I value it for what it achieved, and it's an incredible film. Um Joyce asked, I have a question. What is your favorite childhood kaiju? I think Godzilla is the most obvious choice, but let's give a non-Godzilla answer. As a kid, it probably would have been Rodan. One big reason why I enjoy Godzilla King of the Monsters is because Monsterverse Rodan is awesome. I think that's probably the my favorite Rodan design now, but a kid me would have loved to see what they've done with Rodan now. I mean, I want him to come back. Heck, I want a Toho produced or a Monsterverse solo Rodan movie now. I give me more Rodan. But as a kid, I loved Rodan. I thought it was cool that he and Godzilla were like friendly rivals and such, and that Rodan was every bit Godzilla's equal. And I really enjoyed that because I felt like that would in turn I had friends growing up that would challenge me, and we would always be competing in sports or almost at everything, video games, whatever. And that to me kind of it made us better. It's like borrowing from like Dragon Ball, that made our power levels grow, man. And yeah, so I loved Rodan as a kid. And then later on I came to uh Gamera. Gamera might be like top 3 favorite for me now, but that's a different thing. I will never forget the dreadful feeling I felt as Godzilla crushed the train in 54. Yeah, seriously. Godzilla 54 just grows on you over time. I liked it when I first saw it. I think I was well, I actually can't remember. I think I was a kid or a teenager when I first saw it, but it would be years before I could see the original film like the original Japanese film. And that to me, I'm talking about the version, the real version, not the Raymond Burr version. That it's a the cultural impact alone. There's just so many things to talk about Godzilla 54. I've been meaning to just start like different videos where we talk about one Godzilla movie at a time. And yeah, Godzilla 54 is easily a massive there's just so many things, components about it that makes it still to this day a classic, arguably the greatest Godzilla film ever made. And yeah, there's so many layers to it. Hmm. That new subscriber would be me. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Let's see. What else do we have? I'm telling you, it's King Louis from the Jungle Book. Yeah, King Louis. That's one name that's been dropped for Evil Kong or Emperor Kong. I've read, or there's so much going on. Again, I liked Gray Shot's uh, the Elder. That was pretty cool. But again, it all comes down to I'm sure they're gonna release an official name eventually in the next several months or something, and that then whatever that'll seal the deal. We'll start calling him what he's actually called and go from there. Until then, let the games begin. Let us just let's just have fun with it. That's just the theme of the night, guys. That's just the theme of the next couple months before we actually get a full-on trailer. Which I'm guessing we might get. Um, I still think we're not gonna see much of, anything until maybe fall, but it wouldn't surprise me if we get a bit more for, like, say, San Diego, Comic Con in the next couple months. We'll see. Imagine Gamera comes back and fights the evil Kong. You know, what makes that even funnier is the fact that most movie-going audiences probably have no idea who Gamera is. So just imagine this badass flying fire breathing turtle showing up out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere, and to save Godzilla and Kong. I mean, stranger things have happened in the Godzilla franchise, so who knows where that would go. Evil Kong is going to be called Caesar. Yes, this could very well be King Caesar. Did nobody figured that out? No one sees that this clearly there's a strong resemblance. I mean, uh, there was one idea that Evil Kong could be like Monsterverse verse version of one of the Gargantuas, which is pretty cool. Not gonna lie, that would be cool to see the Gargantuas come back, and this is like the first. I mean, whether Evil Kong is a Gargantua or not, what if they're instead of like an evil Kong and evil Godzilla teaming up against our main hero Titans? What if it's like two evil Kongs? I mean, just think about it. What if there's a couple others, waiting in the wings that we don't know about? Could be an entire army of evil Kongs for all we know. Yeah. Um, geez. Does anyone else okay, so this is like just out of the blue. I don't know if anyone is familiar with this, but there's this movie that came out involving, evil apes. In I think the 1990s. It was called Congo. It was based on a Michael Crichton novel. I remember reading it in high school. It was okay. Um, but the movie itself, I actually loved as a kid. It was pretty crazy and scary at times, but I'm kind of getting those evil, scary ape vibes from this, evil Kong. So yeah. Oh yeah, and yeah, Mr. Red Hudson's right. Bruce Campbell, the amazing, legendary Ash himself from the Evil Dead series. Yeah, Bruce Campbell had a very memorable um, cameo in that movie. Sadly, got you know murdered by an ape, but hey, that's cool. Uh, oh man, that opening scene got you. Yeah, man, it was scary watching as a kid. And one of those there's a scene where the main characters are on a boat and they get attacked by a hippopotamus, which was scary, at the time. But at the time, I also, as a kid, I had no idea that actually that is the single scariest animal like you could possibly encounter almost anywhere on the planet, at least on land or, you know, in the river is a hippopotamus. They're extremely dangerous. In fact, they kill more people than any other predator in Africa, more than lions, leopards, hyenas. Hippopotamuses are scary. Absolutely. Like you never want to mess with one. And indeed, that is exactly like the case when you think about Congo. Like, oh man, forget those evil apes. I mean, that you better pray that those hippos don't decide, you know what, I'm going to have me some human snacks tonight. Oh yeah, the eyeball being thrown. Oh man, I gotta watch that movie again. See if it still resonates. Um, I think for me, since we're before I move on, since we're reminiscing about Congo, I love that one night scene where they set up all those machine guns that every time they detect motion or whatever motion with motion sensors they would just fire, and they set up like lasers as defenses, and then the evil apes started testing their defenses and then went on a full on attack, and it's a massive firefight. It's still awesome. Oh man. Congo was one of my sci-fi films that I liked. The 80s and the 90s were a good time for science fiction. Absolutely. No doubt. Whew, man. Mr. Red Hudson, what are some of your favorite science sci-fi films? And of course, everyone else, feel free to chime in. What are your favorite sci-fi films? They don't have to just be from the 80s and 90s, but feel free, and whichever ones come to mind. Like, oh yeah, The Fly. Oh my gosh. That movie still gets me to this day. I mean, Jeff Goldblum is one of my favorite actors. He's a genius. As far as I can tell, he's a really good person. But like his performance in The Fly is just, oh man. How can you go from liking Jeff Goldblum to being completely like revolted, terrified of him? I don't know. But that's what happened to me. Jeez, it's already 42 minutes of streaming. Jeez, this went by quickly. It's like just just chatting with friends, enjoying ourselves. So, let's see. As assuming, you guys feel free to continue to list off your favorite sci-fi films. You know, I think, returning to the when I started talking about how some people are like underestimating, not just evil Kong, but Kong as a whole. People don't realize that in the same Monsterverse established canon, in not just its lore, but in its canon, that Kong's ancestors successfully slew like who knows how many Godzillas, not just other titans, but other Godzillas have fallen to Kong's kind. I mean, hence Kong's axe. It's literally one of some long dead Godzilla's dorsal spine. Um, just remember the scene from Godzilla versus Kong where Kong and the human characters are entering Kong's his throne room, or at least his ancestors' throne room for the first time, and just remember how big that place is. I mean, Kong is a giant, right? I mean, we're looking at someone the size of, if not bigger than Heisei Godzilla. He's over 100 meters tall, and he looks so small in this giant throne room, this huge lair that was carved into this mountain by Kong's ancestors. Like these guys were, well, they're giant apes, right? Or closely related. So of course they're highly intelligent. They're highly capable of not only uh, creating like like a stronghold, a place that served as a not only a place where they could harness the power of the Hollow Earth. Hence why when Kong dropped his axe and it seemed to be imbued by the Hollow Earth radiation, and then it would light up and show that really badass looking glowing Godzilla silhouette. Um, oh, I um I think people are going to be. I think people are not only underestimating just this new adversary, this evil Kong or whatever it is, but also you got to remember, and it's just funny because it's coming from people. Like, how is it that the human race, how is it that we became like the dominant species on the planet? How is it that we have all this power? I mean, we wouldn't last a second against most other animals in close quarters, right? I mean, not without weapons, not without like a way to defend ourselves. We're actually extremely vulnerable. We're very frail. Yet it's our minds, it's our actually the fact that we work together, we're like a tribe. The fact that we're able to do that, do something that most species could not, really gave us an advantage, at least our ancestors, an advantage over most of, if not all of the predators they encountered. So in a way, I feel like our story is very similar to, Kong's. I mean, I mentioned earlier there's a chance that this evil Kong has like the Titan equivalent to a weapon of mass destruction. Just like we have nukes, we have powerful weapons, just terrible weapons, but powerful nonetheless. So could this evil Kong. You don't have to win your battles just by overpowering your foe. I mean, evil Kong might actually realize, I can't beat, say, Godzilla one on one. That's suicide. This evil Kong might be skilled enough to give Godzilla a better fight than our Kong did. But instead of risking you know, thermonuclear annihilation, Evil Kong could have arranged for a series of schemes, plots, or even traps might have lured Godzilla into a trap where even he couldn't escape right away. And there's just so many ways that not only I can think of, but so many others have thought about ways to make Evil Kong, probably are like he but potentially could be the best Monsterverse villain. I know we've already had King Ghidorah. He was great. I love the Monsterverse Ghidorah. His whole idea was destroy the planet. Okay, same with Mecha Godzilla. But Evil Kong, I think he doesn't want to just be like the king of the monsters, right? I think Evil Kong wants to be the king of all. Hence the new empire, right? I don't think this Kong wants to destroy the planet or wipe out everyone. You can't be a king. You can't have an empire if everyone's dead. But you know what? He's willing to, reduce all of his challengers or anyone that stands in his way, to dust, of course. But gamer time, what's up, my friend? This kind of feels like a business meeting as if we're making the movie. Oh, wouldn't that be awesome? Yes, I mean, of course. So gamer time. I presume you've brought the recent seventh draft. Yes, and we shall check page 142 where we have yes, so it shows right here Jet Jaguar riding in to save the day, riding on an Anguirus to save Godzilla and Kong from certain doom. Sounds wonderful. I'm actually just flipping through the pages now of my Godzilla versus Kong art book. Did you guys know that originally they thought about having maybe not the final battle, but one battle having Godzilla and Kong fight in the Kong's Hollow Earth throne room? That would have been cool. But also, that's something we definitely need to see in this next movie. I want to see a huge fight take place in the Hollow Earth, where the inversion of gravity is crazy. Ugh. Mr. Red Hudson said, "Oh my God, I just remembered The Dark Crystal by Jim Henson. Have you seen that one, Tom?" Yes, I saw The Dark Crystal a long time ago as a kid. It gave me nightmares. I have not watched it since. I really should, but yeah. Maybe the evil Kong wants to end all kaijus, including himself. Maybe, just maybe. But maybe he just wants to be last. Maybe he just wants to be the last living thing on the planet before everything has been wiped away. Already, page 142. Oh, I love my book at home. JK. Which part are you just kidding at? Which part are you kidding, Gamer Time, that you left your book at home, but not really? I mean, we're on the clock here, man. The fandom is expecting greatness, and only we can, you know, uh, make Godzilla a bigger success. It's what we've always wanted. Oh, Godzilla flying. Yes, yes, and yes, it needs to happen. You know what? I think we're going to see that happen in the Monsterverse. You know what? I'm going to just make that, I'm going to make that proclamation right now. I bet we're going to see Godzilla fight not only in a hollow earth, but where the gravity gets all weird, he's going to use his atomic breath and he's going to use that and fly. We're going to see flying Godzilla come back. I'm not only making a bet, I'm counting on it. Of course, his cat would make a brief cameo in Godzilla X Kong. That's actually we're actually planning on having my cat, Kathra, this legendary kaiju warrior monster queen. We're planning on having her show up in Godzilla X Kong X, let's see, Titanosaurus, all out monster war. Yeah, that's when Kathra is going to show up and kick Godzilla's scaly ass again. Oh, shucks. I thought we were on page 178. The White Rodan breed or Snow Rodan. Snow Rodan. Whoa, Mr. Red Hudson. Spoilers. This is a wild mass guessing stream. This is where it's just pure crazy fan theories that will probably never happen. But you just dropped a real spoiler. I'm sure Legendary's agents will be knocking on your door very shortly. I promise I'm funny sometimes. Imagine the scene with Godzilla falling into Hollow Earth. Then, as he lands, he is so lost looking around at his fellow Titans. He feels as if he wasn't king anymore. Godzilla has the potential to emote. That much is true. Sorry, I saw something that caught my head. Okay. I was distracted by something that one of my cats. Speaking of, it wasn't Vanellope, my Cathro we were talking about. It's actually my other cat, Al, who's adorable, but no way I could possibly get him to be patient for more than 2 seconds to make a movie. I know, it's a bummer. Snow Rodan, lol. Oh man. Like we're about what 54 minutes into this stream. Did anybody predict? I want to know the truth. Did anyone predict at the beginning? If you're watching this from the future, especially, did you if you made it this far, did you picture, or did you like predict, anticipate someone saying Snow Rodan? I mean, we do have there is a Snow Godzilla, believe it or not. So it stands to reason that there would eventually be a Snow Rodan. But hey, here we go, guys. We are. This has been like this is like a kaiju resurgence, right? I mean, I remember early 2000s when I started when I went online for the first time and started discovering that there are other Godzilla fans. What? Um I was so ecstatic, but then I remember older fans reminiscing about like the golden years of kaiju cinema, like the Showa Godzilla era, and how there were new Godzilla and kaiju movies like annually, and it was great, which it was. I love the Showa Godzilla film era. It's arguably my favorite, but the Monsterverse is like I'm loving even more. I there I said it. I think the Monsterverse is like on it's on the cusp. It's on the verge to become my probably my favorite, but it's okay. That doesn't take away or devalue any of the other Godzilla films or eras that have come before and that are still to come. I mean, we still have Toho's upcoming Godzilla Zero set to come out. I think that's what it's going to be called. It's coming out I think this November in celebration of Godzilla's 69th anniversary. So that's going to be crazy. But I think that just further reinforces the point that this is a kaiju renaissance. We're living in a new era of how not only are we getting more Godzilla movies, but I think like finally we're Godzilla is no longer like this sort of niche like character, this sort of like silly, cartoony, goofy, film character that people used to just um, yeah, kind of. I guess he's still that. Come to think about it, but I think he's taken a bit more seriously. He, definitely has more respect than I remember him, having in the years past. I remember early 2000s. I attended a film school. I wanted to. That's how I learned, picked up on many skills, different techniques, but I mean, my classmates were good people. They were very tolerant, even though they like obviously thought Godzilla was silly and a joke. But look at Godzilla now. Look at all these movies. Look at all these monster movies that are still on the way. We're seeing just such a what a time to be a Godzilla fan, guys. What a time to be a kaiju fan. There's so much to like and so much to look forward to. You guys are hilarious. It's so funny. I'm all like talking about it's a new kaiju renaissance. There's, what a time to be alive. What a time to love Godzilla. And all I see in the chat is, what about Snow and Gearus? Snow Mothra, anyone? Snow Ghidorah. Yeah, I guess winter is here, all right. Oh, man. Jeez. It's so funny. In case you didn't notice, right down over here, I got some of the Heisei Godzilla mangas, the comics made from the 90s. I hope to do some videos on those where I will compare and contrast the Heisei Godzilla mangas with their film counterparts. Kind of like a comparison between, here's what the manga and the films have in common, but here's where the manga takes things in a way different direction. And these, the mangas are brutal, guys. Super brutal. So I look forward to like trying to create new material in the future, new content. I'm still I'm still your friendly neighborhood Godzilla stop motion or stomp motion artists, of course. I got so many projects. It's really hard to pace yourself, when it comes to this sort of thing. I really want to just do more, but again, I'm a full-time dad, full-time worker. I have a full-time job. I got full-time everything else. So unfortunately, I can't make Godzilla movies, stop motion videos full-time just yet, maybe in 5, 10 years. Yeah, oh yeah, the Bambi poster. Yeah. This was the artist is Alex Alcantar. He also illustrated the Mecha Godzilla Destroy a Space Godzilla poster for the movie I made. Um, this is also a poster that he made for my Godzilla versus Bambi the rematch movie. As it stands, still my channel's most successful, at least when you take views into consideration. It is my channel's most successful video. It's awesome. You should totally watch it if you haven't yet. Just leave right now. I will forgive you all. Just go check it out. Snow Destroyer. Okay. The problem is Destroyer's weakness is, freezing temperatures. So Snow Destroyer pretty much is instantly doomed. Or not. Who knows? Ooh. At least there's some people like you out there. No hardcore yelling kaiju fans that yell at his viewers, but a humble yet kind gentleman. Mr. Red Hudson, I appreciate that very much. It's possible that I'm not yelling, curses or names at you guys right now because I'm just tired, but I do appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I just what can I say? I not only love these movies, but I also enjoy listening to just why you guys love them. Like I've said for a while now, like the the Polygon Godzilla anime trilogy. I'm not the biggest fan of, but I really enjoy listening to why fans who do love those movies, why they express that, like why is it that they do love it, and they come up with incredible reasons. They have like the music is great. They love the kaiju concepts, which are incredible. Just they get into the philosophy. They really can express just what makes those movies great in their opinion, and I like listening to it. I mean, I think it's a invaluable skill to have where can you actually listen to somebody say something you like disagree with and not interrupt them or not berate them or argue with them. Like I'm totally content. I'm fine with the fact that people are not going to believe what I believe, that they are not going to like some Godzilla movies that I like. I mean, I'm best friends with people, with incredible people who don't really like Godzilla, and that's fine. I say that only because I failed to convert them a long time ago, and I'm just, accepting, the inconvenient truth, of course. I feel like I'm one of those fans that love Godzilla's Revenge and Godzilla Raids Again. Like these films hit nostalgic areas within me. I think Godzilla's Revenge is underrated. It's actually and I think it's a interesting depiction of the time that the economic turmoil of Japan during those years, and I think it's actually far more relatable and compelling than people might be willing to admit or look for. Um, I and Godzilla Raids Again. I hear you. I like that movie. I think it gets slack or maybe thrown under the bus sometimes because it followed up, like, again, arguably the greatest Godzilla movie of all time. So just about anyone was going to look kind of, um, I don't know, less in comparison. But no, I think Godzilla Raids Again is fun. It's a good movie. And and I've been getting into Gamera now. Yes. And now with Gamera Rebirth on the horizon. I mean, we have a new Gamera Netflix series coming out. I don't know when. I can't wait to find out. Um yeah, I think it's been revealed that so far Cameron's going to be fighting 5 kaiju, and we now know at least 2 of those kaiju are Gauss and Jiger, which is an interesting choice. Interesting choices. The Gauss one was predictable, but it's nice to see Jiger come back. I'm hoping we see Baragon, and I really want to see maybe a Heisei Gamera villain thrown in, like Legion or Iris. But I also think it would be awesome. I kind of want to see Zigra as well, and possibly a brand new kaiju, but we'll find out. Yeah. Oh yeah, Gamma Rebirth. I forgot about that. Um it there's been a lot going on, as of late, easily the past month, that it's easy to forget. I mean, there's so much there's so much going on. Godzilla, kaiju related. Again, like I said earlier, it's a new kaiju renaissance. It's a new era. We got so much to look forward to, and there's so many anniversaries of memorable Godzilla films coming out next year that we're probably going to get another like cool Godzilla short produced film that Toho has been making for the past couple years. We saw one for Godzilla versus Hedorah, then another one just several months ago with Godzilla versus Gigan, which for some reason Toho doesn't want to share on YouTube for some reason. You kind of had to be there to watch it. It was great. Um, Hopefully that changes so we can all keep watching it. Ooh, and we saw Godzilla versus Gigan Rex several months ago. I There's a review I made of that on my channel. That was a great movie. It's short and sweet. That was great. I mean, it hasn't been officially confirmed to be a sequel to Godzilla versus Destroya. It has not been officially confirmed that Godzilla in this movie is actually the adult Godzilla Junior. But it's if you're paying attention and your Heisei Godzilla lore, it's pretty much that. It's adult Godzilla Junior. And it's basically that's my canon until you know, Toho says otherwise, I guess. I like how we're having a moment right now, and Joyce is talking about Snow Kaiju. Hey, man, to each their own. Oh, and yeah, Muto Prime. You know, right here, right behind me. Muto Prime. I'm kind of hoping we see a live action treatment in Apple TV's upcoming Godzilla series, which I think is going to be a big hit, given the talent, the not just the cast, the actors they've revealed to be part of the project, but the crew, the directors. It has a high caliber of filmmakers, and it seems to have a pretty dang good budget to give us a gratuitous amounts of kaiju action. Godzilla's supposed to be in there. You might be thinking, oh, he's hardly going to show up or like at all, but no, he's going to be. It sounds like he's going to have. He's You're going to notice him. Um, that that show, I believe, has the potential to change everything. Um, I obviously that could end up not being the case, but I do believe the Apple TV Godzilla show could very well be a game changer. because if it's extremely well written, great, and we get memorable, relatable characters. If it seems to be following Godzilla 2014, like right after that movie, the events of that movie played out, we're going to see the fallout, which we kind of got a glimpse of at the beginning of Godzilla King of the Monsters. But if it's anything like Godzilla 2014, which is, I know it's not for everybody, it's not for every fan, but personally speaking, Godzilla 2014 is one of my favorite Godzilla movies. And if it not only matches the strengths of Godzilla 2014, but also its weaknesses, despite being one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite Godzilla movies, Godzilla 2014 does have problems. There are definite flaws. There are things they could have done a lot better. And if this TV show kind of capitalizes on its strengths and doesn't make it the same errors, I think this show could be a game changer. It could actually just having seen the success of other shows in recent years. I mean, the TV format has changed. Television is like easily comparable to cinema, if not now surpassing it. I mean, The Last of Us recently on HBO was just, I'm still trying to catch up, but from what I've seen, it's amazing. It's from the guys who made Chernobyl. That's another great show. There are so many great shows. So it makes sense that if we make a Godzilla show that matches the quality of any of these, we could seriously see a huge, massive spike for not just Godzilla, but for the genre as a whole. We could see a massive shift, and I'm that's kind of what I'm hoping for. And of course, then we get to Godzilla X Kong, which we don't know. We don't know if it's going to match the kind of pure fun campy tone of Godzilla versus Kong, even though Godzilla versus Kong is a visually incredible film. I mean, it looks great. Not just the graphics, but I really liked the cinematography of it. But there's no telling if this movie is going to kind of be similar to that, or if it's going to like shift gears and be more serious or suspenseful. Who knows? But Godzilla, as we know, anyone who's familiar with the character or has seen, several films throughout the years, Godzilla is unique because change you could have one serious Godzilla film come out, and then the next year, the next one could just be goofy. It could be silly, and then the next one, it could be somewhere in between, and then maybe we'll finally get a horror themed, terrifying Godzilla movie, and then we might get one that's just pure octane adrenaline, action packed, rock'em sock'em, kind of like a Pacific Rim meets Godzilla movie. That would be cool. Ooh. Let's take a look, see how everyone else is doing. Godzilla 14 goaded. Oh yes. I'm always gonna What can I say, guys? When I first saw Godzilla 2014, I was kind of like on the fence. I kind of felt like, oh, I came here to watch. I wanted to see more Godzilla, which is, that is still a valid critique of the film. It would have been nice to see more Godzilla, absolutely. But at the same time, I think, it's not the first Godzilla movie where Godzilla's screen time is like 6 or 7 minutes total, right? I mean, there are other Godzilla movies where he shows up less, and they're still good movies. I think my main issue with Godzilla 2014 is kind of like its editing, some of its uh act decisions, to get the characters from here to there. I also think maybe they should have shown a bit more of Godzilla and Muto's battle at the Honolulu airport. I think they should have expanded on that more, so it kind of gave fans a bit more to, you know, look forward to, because it was annoying to see the constant cutaways. But I think if you threw everyone a bone at the beginning and given us a pretty monstrous showdown, we things would have been all right. And of course, Brian Cranston's character dying, um, yeah, that's a whole different thing. But yeah, I will. Godzilla 2014, despite the first time I saw it, like I said, I was a little disappointed. It's since improved on the subsequent viewings. I've come to enjoy it, and part of the reason why I've come to enjoy it more, just like I just uh, I I just like movies, and part of the reason why one way to do it is to just kind of like accept the film for what it's trying to be as opposed to what you want it to be. That doesn't mean I'm going to like every film. There's quite a number that, of course, I've seen that it just didn't do it for me. But Godzilla 2014 has improved over multiple viewings, and I'm proud to you know just share it. I'm There's a lot of great things about it. Yeah, I like how G14 had that Chernobyl feeling. Yeah, I mean, in fact, for all of the Monsterverse nuclear controversies, its depiction of nuclear weapons, G14 was a rather pretty had a rather grim depiction of not just nuclear weapons, but nuclear power if something went wrong. But hey, I don't think I'm going to be able to respond to all these comments. I'm sorry, guys. Oh man. All right. Let's see if we can go for mm, let's go for another like 5 minutes, and then I think I'm going to call it and go and enter the. I'm going to hibernate, like how you know Godzilla needs to hibernate. In order to maintain balance. In the world, you gotta rest every once in a while. Otherwise, those other titans are going to start running amok, and they're going to walk all over you. So you can stop the stream if you need. Oh yeah, absolutely. But I kind of feel like, oh wow, I don't know if you heard that, but one of my cats just came flying out of nowhere. We didn't see them, but I sure heard them. I am just happy they're not, tearing the place apart. I don't know if you guys can hear like how's the I should have asked this like an hour ago, but like how's the microphone, the sound quality? I'm using a new microphone. I hope to use it for future streams as well. So let me know if it's good or not, and if everything's coming in rather well. And of course, you have to attend to a family, Tom. No need to worry. Oh yeah, I've been watching. I have my phone down here, and it has. We use this thing called an owlet. Um, just it helps me monitor. I have a 3-year-old, so he's. I am happy to report I have not woken him up at all during this Godzilla session. This wild mass guessing night. Oh, so okay, the microphone seems pretty good. Works pretty good. Okay. I think it likely would be better though, because part of the reason why you might be hearing small glitchy sounds is actually it's not glitchy sounds. There's a bird right over here, and she sometimes, yeah, I'm talking to you. She sometimes thinks that when I'm talking, like now, that I'm talking to her, or she could be, munching on little bird food, and It's kind of the reason why I don't like streaming down here because, well, because of that. Yeah, you. But well, what can I say? My office studio is like literally right next to my son's room, so definitely don't want to wake him up. I'm sure I would, but yeah, I guess in closing, definitely looking forward to Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire. Can't wait to see more of what will be revealed to us in the next coming months. I mean, fingers crossed. Hopefully, we get more. Maybe get a full blown trailer in the next couple months. Maybe sometime in the fall. Who knows? Who knows? And also, to those of you who are interested in whatever stop motion projects or just my projects as a whole, definitely stay tuned. I am definitely I can't wait to have Godzilla Apocalypse to share Godzilla Apocalypse Now. I think it's just I always try to improve with every new project. I always challenge myself to do something different that I haven't done before, and I uh, I released a trailer for this movie almost a month ago now. It feels like a month ago, but it's gonna there's so much I left out. There is a ton. So I can't wait. There's a lot that's gonna happen. It's I really can't wait to see your guys' reactions. And there is a kind of a proof of concept project in the works. I hope to get started on it in the next month or two. And I've kind of briefly talked about it in previous streams, but it's a choose your own adventure. So the idea is when the first part of this video ends, it'll like have a choose your ending. There will be a link to this ending here or choose this ending instead. So basically, I'm going to make it'll be like a three-part series in a way, but you guys will have the freedom to choose which how this film will end. So, um yeah, I can't wait to get started on that. There's a lot to do that. And then I love Godzilla versus Batman. I did part 1 months ago, had a blast. Have so much more planned with that. There's just so much going on. I mean, like I mentioned, it's a time to be what a time to be a Godzilla fan. What a time, to enjoy kaiju films and what a time to make them. So, got a lot in store for you guys. Got a lot coming in the next few weeks, next few months. It's going to be a busy summer, that's for sure. Well, all right. Well then, everyone, it's been great. Thank you so much for being part of this. I am going to now go to bed. So I appreciate everyone being here, us exchanging ideas and stories and things that we, especially talking about like some of our favorite sci-fi movies and such. It's been a blast, guys. So I appreciate everything. Thanks for stomping by. And hey, guess what? I will destroy you all utterly later. Ha ha. Anyway, have a great night, everyone. Take care.